Hi friends! I wasn't looking at the camera. That was a bad intro, Benson. I hope everyone's doing super dandy today because for today's video, we're knitting. We're here on my channel and we're knitting. What a surprise. I'm just very addicted to knitting. I just love it. So today we're gonna be making a balaclava. We're gonna be knitting a balaclava, which I'm so excited for because I made my first balaclava last month and it turned out way below average. You wanna showcase it, Benson? See, below average. So I've updated my pattern and I feel like I got it bang on this time, so I'm ready to teach you guys how to make your own balaclava, which I already started here because I went to the yarn store yesterday and I couldn't decide which color I wanted, was the green or the blue. So I got both and we're making two. This is how the blue one's turning out so far. But that's the plan for today's video. So let's get into the supplies you need and how to make one. So for our supplies, you're gonna need some circular needles like these ones, and you're gonna need 4.5 and 5.5 needles. You're also gonna need some yarn. This is the yarn I have. I'll link it down below, the details about it. And then lastly, all you'll need is some really good shows because it's gonna take you a while, so maybe just get like a good series you guys can watch while you knit it up. First decision before we can start knitting. Do I do it just normally, just normal wool yarn? Or do I add mohair? Do I put these together to make it super fuzzy and just like, I don't know. I don't know. Do I do it? Because this one doesn't have anything. It's just like the wool yarn. But this one, do I want to make a fuzzy one? We're doing it. We're doing a fuzzy balaclava. So for this one, I'm just mixing I'm not really mixing. I'm just putting the yarn side by side like this and then knitting it that way. So I'll try not to get it tangled. So first step, we have our yarn here and we're gonna do a long tail cast on. So you know you're gonna need a decent amount of long tail here. And then I'm just adding my slip knot somewhere near there. Now I'm gonna use my 4.5 millimeters and then I'm gonna cast on 112 stitches. Bam bam turkey chicken. I'm gonna begin the ribbing. So for my ribbing, I'm doing 2x2 ribbing. So that means 2 knit stitches, and then 2 purl stitches, and then 2 knit stitches, and then 2 purl stitches until you get to the end. And you should end with 2 purl stitches if you added the right amount of stitches. I don't know. Sometimes I don't end up with it and then, you know, it sucks because sometimes I'm just not great at counting. Also, when I'm done all this ribbing, I'm gonna try to learn continental stitching just so I can really fly by, you know, these balaclavas because I do it, you know, the old-fashioned way, like where you actually have to like wrap it around, and honestly, it's just real slow. I'm not liking how slow it is, so I feel like I should upgrade and try to be a pro now that I knit all the time. So that's another goal for me today, is try to learn continental. I think that's what it's called. So now that we're done our first row, now I'm gonna put it into the round, and there's tons of different ways you can do this. I'm just doing it this way where I did the first row and then I'm just continue on knitting the same pattern, 2x2 ribbing on the other side, and now it's a circle. It's pretty easy. You don't have to do any fancy magic tricks in between. Like you can if you want, but I don't. I just continue on, and then this is kind of what it starts to look like when you get your second row done. Pretty fancy. I know it's exciting. I'm excited just looking at it. So as I'm knitting this very, very slowly, I'm realizing that I probably should turn off my Animal Crossing live streams I'm watching and learn continental stitching, knitting.
All the yarn is being fed through my fingers, but the whole movement is so effortless. And give yourself some time.
It's not really effortless, Kathy.
But once you
it's kind of hard.
It really is very quick, easy, relaxing way to knit. slow it down again.
So we're just gonna take a quick break from the knitting because today's video is sponsored by Lomi. If you haven't heard of Lomi before, Lomi is an electric composter you can keep right in your kitchen, and you can take all your scraps from dinner, breakfast, just your snacks throughout the day and chuck it in here. Lomi then takes all of your compost, your scraps, and it turns it into high nutrient dirt. Lomi can break down your food in as little as 3 hours, and all you have to do is just chuck all your waste in here and press the button to turn it on, and it will go. So last night I turned on my Lomi with all of my scraps throughout the day, and I turned her on the plant mode. So I can use all of this stuff in here for my plants as fertilizer, and I'm just gonna save it, maybe give it as gifts this year. I already done that, which, you know, a great way to, you know, make gifts is just from your food scraps. Another thing I love about Lomi is that it doesn't stink. No stinky. But let me show you what my scraps look like now the next day. So yesterday I ate a lot of oranges, so she's very citrusy this morning. She smells honestly like an orange candle, which is kind of weird to say, but she smells good. If you guys want to get your own Lomi, you guys can go to my link down below in the description and reserve yours for $49. Let's get back to the knitting. I'm gonna do a total of 6 rows for the ribbing. 6. Because 6 is a great number. I feel like 6, great even number. So we're doing 6, and this is what 6 looks like. I now have my ribbing all done. I have 6 rows here completed. So now we can actually move on to the hood part of the balaclava, which, is it a hat or is it a scarf with balaclava? It's kind of a mixture, right? Now we're moving on to bigger and better things. We gotta change our needles. We gotta, you know, take some stitches off, let them hang out and just, you know, chill there. We're not gonna be knitting in the round anymore. And I know this all sounds very complicated, but it's not. It's really, really easy. So, first step, we gotta take some stitches off. See where the chin is here? You gotta take some off to make room for our neck. Our head's not a bowling ball, it has a neck attached to it. To feed some of the, you know, stitches onto a spare yarn, you're gonna first need some spare yarn. Any color, but I like to choose a color that's different. Let's chop some off. That was good. You're gonna need a yarn needle, and then I'm gonna thread 16 stitches onto here. We got the chin all geared up. She's all protected, so now we can actually just start knitting. But before we do, we have to change our needles. And typically when I change my needles, I don't change both of them. If you guys do have interchangeable needles, if you don't, let me show you. Pretend this is not on here. Just pretend, because I'm too lazy to take it off. If you don't have interchangeable needles, what I like to do is take the needle you're knitting with, so like your right hand with your right-handed knitting, and you take the left hand here and you just knit like normal and knit it onto this, and then eventually all the stitches will be on this one. I just put one of the bigger needles on this side and kept the little one on this side, and then I'll change the little one once we're done the whole row. So now that we've done all that, we got our new needles on, we're all set to go. Steady, ready. We can just do the stockinette. This is what we're trying to do, because I've already done it. I don't know how many rows I want to do this for. We gotta do a lot because we pretty much have to create the whole hood now. We gotta go from here to here. The whole thing. So after doing a few rows of this green one now, and I'm just comparing these two, and they're both are on just like different levels. I don't know if you guys can see this, but you can't. Never mind. Never mind. I was gonna say the green one's like, you know, just a different level of quality. Just adding that mohair, it just feels so much nicer. It's thicker. It's just, oh gosh. I really want to get good at like knitting and walking. Like I need to get like a little pouch here that I can just have my yarn here, like almost like a baby pouch, except it's for yarn. Like that's a good invention. That's a good one. I think I need to invent that. So no one steal it. Don't steal it yet because I'm inventing a baby yarn pouch. So you can go on walks and knit. You can walk around your house and knit. I don't know if you can run and knit, but maybe. Big stretch. Bye. They're blowing leaves outside again, thank you. Cool. Hi friends, or technically it's good morning friends. You're probably wondering where I am right now, and technically I'm sitting on the toilet. I'm not actually like pooping or anything, like my pants are on. I'm not like that, but for some reason the yard people outside wanted to blow leaves right when I wanted to film, so I'm just gonna sit on my toilet for a bit and explain some of my knitting to you guys, okay? Last night I was able to get a decent amount done. Here's a little show and tell. Look at this. We got somewhat of a balaclava going on here. You know, it's almost the back, so technically if I just pin this like this, you wouldn't even know it's not finished. Or maybe you would, I'm not really sure. I finished everything I needed to up until the next step. So total, I did 6 ribbing rows and then 25 stockinette rows. And now I'm at the part where I'm gonna start to decrease and do some little bit of a fancy stuff. It's not that hard, don't worry, it's still easy. On each side, you're gonna count to 35. Then you're going to put one of these little stitch markers there, or yarn, or whatever you want to use as stitch marker. Well, this is kind of convenient. My nose is running. I can just wipe it right here. Cool. Just throw it in the toilet. Now my nose is a little red. One sec, guys. I usually never wear makeup. Sometimes I just put a little bit of powder on my nose so it doesn't look as red, because my skin is just pink all the time. But other than that, I usually don't wear makeup. And honestly, to be honest, I should start filming in here more often. This is very convenient to have tissue, to have my makeup. You know, if I need to take a break, you can just pause the camera, take a whiz. So now that we have our stitch markers on here, I am just going to do some knitting. I'm just going to knit until I get to one of those stitch markers. Probably not that sanitary that I'm knitting on the toilet. Or it's freshly cleaned, this bathroom, so actually it shouldn't be that bad. Friends, we're doing a new tutorial, I guess. I'm gonna teach you all how to do a slip knit. So first step, slip one over, second step, slip another one over, and then knit. It's pretty self-explanatory, the, name of it, but I just showed you how to do it. It's pretty easy. This is for a left-leaning knit two together stitch. I don't know if that's correct, but then we're gonna knit all the way to the other stitch marker, and we're gonna stop when there's 2 before it. Two before. I said poo. The other one was 2 after. We're gonna try to keep in the middle of the 2 stitch markers, and this one I just knit 2 together, where you just slip your needle through 2 stitches and knit them together. And then for the back, it's pretty simple because all we're doing is knitting and we're not doing any fancy work. No knitting stitches together, just knit 1 stitch at a time in your purl, and Bob's your uncle. Do we get it? I hope we get it. I hope it's not too complicated because I don't want to make it complicated. I want to make this like as easy as possible and just like mentally digestible. Well, I'm on row number 3, and every single knit row, remember, we gotta decrease at both stitch markers. And we're doing a total of 16 rows. So 8 rows of decreasing with the knit and 8 rows of purl stitches. Okay, well, I'm gonna just turn on an Animal Crossing stream again because, gosh. I don't know what to tell you guys, but I'm addicted. So Christmas is coming up, and I asked my sister what she wanted for Christmas, and she told me she wanted a pair of the mini Ugg boots. I have a pair, she really liked them, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna get her a pair for Christmas. So I went online, I ordered a pair, I found one website that had them in stock because they were sold out everywhere, and they just arrived yesterday. And they're a little bit different than I thought. And this is what showed up. And no, they're not from like eBay or somewhere. They're from an actual store that sells Uggs. And this is what showed up. Okay, we're done this step. So next step, once we have our 10 stitches in between our 2 stitch markers, now we're gonna take off all of the stitches but those 10 between the stitch markers. I have some scrap string here again, got my yarn needle. I'm just gonna feed it all off. So I'm doing one side first. One is done. So you wanna have them both just dangling on string. You don't want them on the same string. So now that I've done one side here, I'm gonna take my other piece of yarn, thread it on, and then loop off all of the stitches to the other side of our stitch markers. Well, there we go. She's done. So I'm very sorry in advance because this is probably the only confusing part that I regret now putting into this pattern, but I just don't like pointed, balaclavas. So this is how I made it round the way I did it. So what I'm doing is I'm taking one stitch off our spare, I guess, yarn on the side there, and I'm doing a slip stitch with one of them from the 10 stitches we have on our left needle there, and then that's how I'm starting off. And then when I get to the end, before I do the last stitch, I'm getting one more from the other side and I'm putting it onto my left needle, first putting over that onto the other side, not stitching it yet, then grabbing one of the loops, and then we're gonna put it back onto the left side, and then we're just gonna stitch 2 together. And then when we're purling on the other side, we're gonna be doing the exact same thing. When we start off the row, we're gonna do a slip knit, and then when we get to the end of the row, we're just gonna knit 2 together. I bet you could just knit 2 together the whole time, not really sure. This is just the way I did it, and again, I'm not professional. So this part does take a little bit of extra time, just connecting the sides and just, doing the back here, but I just like doing it this way so that I don't have to hand sew it, just because I will do anything to not hand sew seams at the end of a knitting project, because I'll just not do it. It's not fun. So I like when it's just nice and clean, it's all one piece and there's just one string dangling, or maybe 2. Just a couple danglers. I can deal with a couple danglers, but more than that, no thank you. Friends, I've got some good news. I am done the head portion of my balaclava. Look at it. Low key, I kind of feel like a Teletubby. Was there a green Teletubby? Dipsy. I look like Dipsy right now. We just need to do the neck part here, and you should just have 10 stitches on your knitting needles still. I have a bit more because I got a little excited and I started adding stitches, but I'm gonna show you guys how we're gonna add stitches all the way around and how we're gonna finish it off. Also, I switched my needles back to 4.5. The same needles you use for the ribbing around the face. So like I mentioned, I got a little excited and I already added a whole bunch of stitches, but this is how I added the stitches. So I took my needle, I shoved it through one of the stitches, and then I wrapped the yarn around, and then I just pulled that through. And I'm doing that for every single stitch around the whole balaclava. Well, not all of them. There's, we're gonna pick up some stitches on, the chin portion, but this is how we're picking up stitches around the rest of the balaclava. And then we're at the chin. We're taking, all those stitches off that spare yarn, and we're just feeding it back onto our needle, but you want to make sure you get there first and like, you know, put all the stitches on leading up to it, add them, and then you're gonna have to cut the string, and then you're gonna have to reattach it on the other side. But then this is what it should look like, and you should have 116 stitches. Okay, cool. Now once we have those 116, we're just gonna do the ribbing. So 2x2 ribbing, 2 knit stitch, 2 purl stitch, 2 knit stitch, 2 purl stitch. And we're just doing that the whole way round. Yes, this is gonna take a while. It's not a fast, easy process, but it's worth it, trust me. Just trust me, it's worth it. So far, I have done 2 rows here, which you can't even see yet. Like, this is going to take a while just because we're using the baby needles again and we're doing ribbing. So this part definitely is going to take a little bit of time, especially because I want to do about 30 rows. I want it to be nice and long and just like super cozy and warm. I wanted it about like this length. So a decent amount. You don't have to do it that long. You can make it short, you can make it longer, whatever you want. You just keep going until you don't feel like going anymore. That's a good motto. Okay, well anyways, I'm gonna get back to the knitting. I'm not done yet. I'm not done. Not done yet. I worked on this last night and this morning. I have a tickle in my throat. And I only got this much done of the, you know, the neck part, so that's still a work in progress. I hope I have enough here. I think I might cut this one boot right here and then sew this bias tape down there and see if I can make a matching pair with my lopsided here because they gave me my money back. But I still have these boots and I don't know what to do with 2 different size boots. Friends, look at this. Look at my balaclava. Isn't she so beautiful? Like, I wish you guys could feel this right now just because she is so soft. She is just like quality on quality on quality, and I just really want to try her on, which I can't with the needle still in here, but I feel like I'm done the neck now. I did 24 rows. This is what she looks like. And I'm getting close to running out of yarn. I only have this much left. So we're gonna cast off now, and I'm gonna show you guys how you can cast off so it's nice and stretchy, because the normal cast off, it's more like not stretchy, like it'll be a little bit more difficult to get over your head. So we want it to be nice and stretchy like our ribbing and just, you know, a smooth motion when we put it over our head. So let's finish this bad boy off because I won't wear it today and tomorrow and forever. So first step, we're gonna start off with knitting our first 2 stitches here, just getting them onto the right needle. Once they're on the right needle, you're gonna do a knit 2 together. You're gonna knit both of those that you just put on there. It's a little tricky at the beginning because there's so many stitches on the right needle, but as we go, there should always be 1 or 2 kinda on the right needle there. So now we put those, now we just have 1 stitch. Next, now we got some purl stitches there. So we're continuing the pattern of 2x2 ribbing. So I'm gonna purl 1 over, so there's 2 on the right side, and then I'm gonna purl those 2 together, not knit. We're doing a pattern of every time you knit, then you knit them together. Every time you purl the 2 together, and then it should start to look like this. After you get all the way around, then you just want to, you know, tuck in all your loose strands that are just dangling about around your balaclava, fold it right side out, and Bob's your uncle. He's your uncle, guys. Now we're done. Yes. Friends, friends, friends. Friends, friends, friends. I'm done one. I didn't get to finish the blue one here. She's still in progress, but she has a little bit of a hood going on. Like, this is how much I've done. So, we're getting there. It's just the neck and connecting the back is all that needs to be done. But at least I finished one of these for the video. The other one, when I finish the blue one, I'll post it on my Instagram just in case you curious cats over there want to see some pictures. I'm done my green one, which I'm so excited to wear this. I think I'm gonna go wear it on a walk later today because it is cold here. It is not warm. And every single walk I've been on this past week while I've been making this, I've been wanting this on my head because it's just been cold and I want to be warm in the neck. I want to be warm around my head, but also, you know, look good at the same time. We're gonna try it on for y'all. Maybe pull some strands up here. Oh, she's really cute. She's actually not so bad. I probably wouldn't walk around like this because it doesn't really make sense to have a short sleeve and then this on. It definitely would be like a big jacket I'm wearing with this, but oh my goodness. She's perfect. She's honestly perfect. I could not have made her more perfect. Just look at this, guys. Look at I am in such big shock right now. She looks great. Should I give you guys a 360? Ready? How does she look? Because I can't see the back of my head, so she could look good, she could look terrible. Only you guys will know. That is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed making a balaclava with me. If you guys do make your own balaclava, tag me on Instagram or let me know down below in the comments. Either one. I just like seeing what you guys create. And that's all I had to say. So I'll see you guys all in my next video. Bye.